People are probably already asking, what is the Forever Agent? And we will get into it. And this is going to be a bit of an anthology. Each one of these points could be a 2-hour podcast in and of itself. We decided to come up with a podcast exclusively for the Forever Agent concept. I want to dive into this. Talk to us about the importance of going from pricing to these pricing strategies.
Well, there's either a tactical approach or there's a strategic price.
Right.
The tactical approach is the one that's been provided every realtor in America, because through every MLS, every realtor, I may not be right, but I'm convinced, to a certain degree, has been encouraged to do this. To go to a home seller and say, Andrew, I went into the computer, okay, and I have some information here for you. I have some data. This column here, these are homes on the market. That would be your competition. Now, as I say this, Andrew, between just you and I and our audience, I'm being facetious and sarcastic. If I didn't point that out, somebody may think this sounds pretty good. So this column here, these are homes on the market. That would be your competition. This column here is days on the market. This is list to sales price. This is absorption rates. Okay, these are homes that were withdrawn. And then I have some macro and micro information for you. The reason that's a horrible way to begin is because in the information age, data and information have the lowest level, knowledge and wisdom have the highest level. So you don't want to begin at the lowest level. You want to begin at the highest level. You don't want to be a data monger. You want to show your experience and knowledge. But that requires strategic thinking. And the strategic thinking emanates out of certain questions. Here are the questions. Andrew, what percentage of realtors you think when it comes to their own personal residence have ever overpriced their own home?
95%.
95%. What percentage of those realtors have access to all of the data?
100%.
100%. What does that tell you about the data? It's worthless unless it's judiciously inserted. What percentage of homeowners do you think have a price in mind before you arrive?
100%.
100%. Pre-COVID, what percentage of homeowners do you think loved the data?
100%.
No, love the data.
Oh.
They love what you recommend. They love the price.
Oh, no, they always want more.
Yeah. So that's 100% don't love the data.
Right.
What do you think that makes the realtor? The bearer of bad news. What do you think happens to the bearer of bad news? It's called shoot the messenger. Because what you have to do is you have to first tenderize the home seller. And that's why we've created for Forever Agents the 3-level pricing strategy. It goes like this. Andrew, we provide our clients with 3 distinct pricing strategies. Some of our clients want to price the property based on the data. An MMA, a CMA, we can talk about those processes later, because they want to make sure the home appraiser's out. They don't want to offend the pricing sensibilities of buyer or buyer agents. Some of our clients price it based on the less is more pricing strategy. They'll actually price it lower because they want to create competition. In some markets, even a bidding war. And then the third category, the third pricing strategy, some of our clients price their property based on what we call the retail pricing strategy. They want to put a little bit of a cushion because they think that buyers might want to negotiate. So of those 3 strategies, which is the most philosophically suitable for you? Now, at this point in time, homeowners are still going to say, well, what are we talking about? What's the data? But now when you get to the data, you've already manifested that you and they are one. You're not there as an advocate for your research, because that's the bearer of bad news. Right. They've been tenderized, and then you can get into everything else that you've ever done. I have a lot more language on pricing, but we've got to move on, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. Yeah. It's nice to have a classically trained CEO going over the most important dialogues for a real estate agent, which is how to land these marketing proposals in that home. All right. Hit this one real quick. I think you have one in front of us. We need to go from marketing brochures to lifestyle stories. This is a major, major one. So this is going to be maybe a couple other podcasts. Give us the highlights of the lifestyle story, though.
Well, I'm going to tell the story. This is such an important story to the industry, at least it was for me. Years ago, before I was with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, or HSF, or Home Service of America, my wife and I moved from California to Connecticut to be equidistant to our 9 grandchildren. And we were looking for homes in a lot of different markets, but we wanted to be as equidistant as possible. And I was the consultant for this other company, and their top agent, which I'm not going to reference, out of respect for our network, but some know who she is. And if somebody calls me privately, I'm happy to tell her who she is. But last year, I think she made over $2.5 million. She's a rock star, and she's more sophisticated when it comes to marketing than any realtor I've ever met. And so she created this concept called Lifestyle Stories. I gave her the name Lifestyle Stories, but every one of her properties is like a 21-page story. Because most realtors today, they're still just like doing brochures, like
just a bunch of pictures,
pictures,
a couple stats.
And it's even stuff just off the internet. They just transport it to the thing.
Yeah,
and
just click
have their
download.
little agency do it or whatever. But because I trained her and her company before I came to our company, in fact, I gave her the slogan, marketing real estate at the highest level. Because she was trained, she did a collaborative marketing, customized marketing proposal based on asking people to join her to tell their lifestyle story. So she'd bring in 10 or 15 of these and say, let's take a look at all the other stories and take a look at what descriptions of kitchens do you like the best? What descriptions of family rooms do you like the best? Then it had in there, neighbors know best. It had in there home improvements, because what percentage of people bring up home improvements? They all do. What percentage of brochures list all the home improvements? They don't. So it's basically telling people, I'm just going through the motions with you. You're all excited about your home improvements. Buyers aren't even going to see that, okay, when they see the brochure. So it's all the home improvements. Then she had an interview with the homeowners. Now, I know some realtors do stuff like this. She does this on every property with 20 pages. And so what happened is this: nearby points of interest, the story of the town, Fairfield, nearby points of, and so the point that I'm saying is a lifestyle story, but this only comes from the mindset of a marketing agent who's doing things at the macro level, because everybody wants this. Everybody wants this.
I just got to say, in the history of time, as long as people have been trying to liquidate their most valuable asset, which is typically their home, the real estate asset, every single person would want this. We're calling it a lifestyle story. And we're creating all the content inside our global network for people to do this every time. But here's the thing. The devil's in the details. You need to have a checklist, a process to go through creating a proper lifestyle story for yourself, for your brand, for your consumer. It's collaborative and it works. And if people aren't doing that, well, compared to the alternative, you have a brochure with a couple stats that you put in a cheap plastic thing, if you even do that. This is how you're going to stay in this business forever, is by offering an overwhelming amount of value to the consumers. And that's how you don't get disrupted on the listing side. That's great. We have plans to do some more content on lifestyle stories, but you got to Google that in the research, in the Learn Center.
And Andrew, the only thing that's more impressive than that she does, okay, is her HomeServices directory. She doesn't call it that.
Clients only.
No, but she doesn't call that's my name. She's not with us. She has another name. But for the last 5 years, everything we've done comes out of that directory. That's why she made almost, I think, $2.5 million just herself last year.
That's what gets me so excited about the movement in general. Because look, I'm going to do it. Okay, I know that. And you were talking with 4 of our staff members earlier. We're doing this stuff, but I'm trying to be a part of something bigger. It's just the kind of the way of life, I guess.
Exactly.
And I want other agents within our global network to do it with me. Because I'm always looking to win. Let's just call it, just like you're competitive,
exactly.
I'm competitive.
Without a doubt.
I wasn't nearly the athlete, but look, if you're not trying to find ways to win, I don't think you're doing it right.
Without a doubt.
This is the way to win.
You win by helping your clients win.
Well, 100%, because it's not about me.
No, it's
me.
all, exactly.
So we covered that. So that's huge. Okay. Oh, love this one. How do we go from the market determines the price? From the market determines the price to only influences the price. So let me phrase that better.
Yeah, okay.
When people say, hey, well, the market dictates the price, you got to lower the price. The price dictates if the home's going to sell or not. It's all about the price. Instead of the only reason homes don't sell is not because of price, it's because of ineffective marketing. That's a Daltonism. That's one of your core concepts. And another industry thing is, well, the only reason a home doesn't sell is because of the price. And Allan will go ahead and pulverize that common misconception with this point.
And hopefully it's a professional pulverizing process here. And the reason I'm very enthusiastic about eviscerating these calcified cliches is because there's no one listening as part of this audience that ever came up with this thinking.
Sure.
This was just imposed upon them.
We inherited it.
And the reason we inherited this from our real estate ancestors is because we were more influenced by what other industries do than we influence them. And in stocks, the market determines the price because you can't negotiate a stock price. But if you sold $1 million of stock, if you work for like E-Trade, I think your commission's about $12 to $20. Now, how many realtors would accept a $20 commission for a $1 million home for sale? They wouldn't. But that begs the question, but why would they think they deserve more if the market determines the price? See, the market determines the price of commodities and of stocks because you can't negotiate, you don't stage, and so forth and so on. In real estate, the market only influences the price. What determines the price, the outcome? The buyer agent, the seller, the seller agent, the lender, the appraiser. There's multiple stakeholders, but when we buy into what outside people have come in and told us, because that applies to their discipline or some ad agency, that the market determines the price, that undermines the entire essence and value of a realtor, of a real estate professional, and especially of a marketing person. The same thing is if somebody goes through their entire career thinking the only reason a home does not sell is because it's overpriced, that means the only reason it does sell is because it was priced properly. That eviscerates value as well. There's only one reason a home doesn't sell in North America as well as the entire globe. That's because of ineffective marketing, because price is part of marketing, but marketing is not part of price.
That's a huge one. You're going to want to write that one down. Price is part of marketing. Marketing's not just part of price, because one thing I do remember from business school, shout out to York College of Pennsylvania, was the 4 P's of marketing.
Exactly.
In every marketing class, you know, it's about product, price, promotion, and place. Price is one little component of marketing. So the brilliance here is when you think about things top level, macro, is if you can wrap your head around these concepts, you're gonna end up getting this innate ability to communicate effectively with your clients and educate your peers from other industries so they understand what you do. And I'm a lifer.
Yeah, and not only that, value's been driven downward to make sure that we have a well-populated industry. You can't have 1,800,000 real estate professionals if everybody is successful or if there's a high bar. Real estate's the easiest business to get into, but it's the hardest to be successful. That's why we were talking last night at dinner, Andrew. The people that you know in the Rethink Council, the top brokers, they'd be immensely successful in any business, in any industry. The leaders of the people that are the most successful in real estate, I admire more than any professionals in the world. They're on straight commission. They don't have 401ks. They're not given business, okay? They've got to earn every single penny. It's a meritocracy. They've got to be marketing. They've got to do negotiating. They've got to do psychology. And now they've got to do sociology. But these are the top people. But that's not like most of the industry. That's why there is an 80-20 and 90-10 rule. So we're talking really for the people that are all in. And so, but the people that are all in have been somewhat contaminated by the mean. The mean is you've got a beautiful, lovely, charming, gracious, special. The mean is I do listing presentations. The mean is the market determines the price because you don't want to make it that difficult. Why would you ever have people have responsibility if you want everybody to be able to come in the industry? You can't have it as tough. You can't make it difficult. You've got to have easy answers. The home didn't sell because it's overpriced. What that leads to is this, Andrew. There hasn't been one realtor that I've ever heard in the country that's ever said this, or company. Those homes didn't sell because we were horrible. Those homes didn't sell because we stink. Isn't it amazing that every single time a home has not sold in the history of the country, it never had anything to do with the real estate agent? It's all because the homeowner didn't follow the impeccable, infallible pricing wisdom of the agent. And here's the whole thing. And then it leads to this conversation. I say, Andrew, I think homes didn't sell because of ineffective marketing. You could be the devil's advocate, though, and say, no, I think a home didn't sell. No, you could say, I could say it didn't sell because of ineffective marketing. You can say, Alan, even if there's no marketing, if you lower the price enough, somebody's going to buy it. Andrew, I think the home didn't sell because there was no effective negotiating. You can say, well, even if you horrible negotiating, if you lower the price, somebody's going to buy it. Andrew, I think the home didn't sell because there wasn't adequate staging. Alan, even if there's no staging, if you lower the price enough, somebody's going to buy it. Alan, you could have 5 dead bodies in the basement, and if you lower the price enough, somebody's going to buy it. And that was the attitude of the whole industry. Just keep lowering the price, because the only reason a home doesn't sell is because of price, as opposed to elevate the marketing. Because we took the 4 P's of marketing and we said, let's jettison 75% and let's have everything just price, because that's something that the homeowner is ultimately more responsible for than are we.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be priced reasonably, but it's got to be easy to show. It's got to show well. There's a whole slew of things you have to do to market effectively. And we're not even getting into the social media metrics and all the stuff that I've been studying for the last 5 years. It's so refreshing to hear somebody say that this is the easiest business to get into.
Yeah.
You can't argue that. But it's the hardest to be
without
successful
a doubt.
at. Because you know what we have to deal with? It's like mental warfare, not just from clients, because we're here to serve clients and represent communities and do all these things. But to build an organization around no salary, no benefits, no nothing, and by the way,
the nicest people, and they care most about other people. They care most about the communities. There's no conventions. In fact, I once spoke at Atlantic City at the triple play at the convention, and I was playing blackjack the night before, and the blackjack dealer said, "You must be in for the Realtor convention." I said, "Yes." She goes, "They're our favorite conventions because they tip the best of anybody else. They're the nicest people, the Realtors." That was great.
Well, the ones who come to the convention probably were invited because they're successful. Go meet a bunch of broke agents. They're not that nice.